In this video, I talked to you about a study called Impacts of a Computer Game-Based Early Algebra Intervention that's part of a larger NSF-funded project called MathNext Early Algebra. And I'm not going to talk about the specifics of the intervention in this video, but it involved the creation and implementation of Agronautica cursorverse and creature caverns and associated lesson plans, all of which are available at mathsnacks.org. Uh, I want to start by thanking my colleagues, Mohammed Al Younes, Jermaine Desgardines, and Ayman Al Said, who are graduate students that worked really hard on this project, and this study would not have happened without their amazing support. My name is Chris Ingledow. I'm an assistant professor of math education at New Mexico State University. To start off, it's important to recognize early algebra's role in being able to improve access to career and post secondary education. Also important to recognize early algebra is not pre-algebra. It's not early algebra. It's not algebra earlier. And we have evidence that early algebra can begin alongside and prior to development of number. And this study's intervention is grounded in the 5 big ideas of early algebra described by Maria Blant and her colleagues in 2015. The research question guiding the study is, what is the impact of an early algebra intervention on students' early algebra knowledge, and are there any teacher level differential effects? The data come from 457 grades 5 students, grades 4 and 5 students from 28 teachers' classrooms across 10 schools in a single school district in southwestern region of the United States. 64% reported as Hispanic Latinx, 18% white, 13% multiracial, and 55% female. Demographics that were used were gender, 2 different racial variables that are dichotomous, and grade, all of which are dichotomous. We have continuous variables of the pre and post Roche personability scores, and you can read about validity evidence for the assessment in my 2020 RCML proceedings paper. We have the total number of minutes played, playtime, for both Agronautica and cursorverse combined, and then an anxiety composite score using items from the 2012 PISA. We use a hierarchical linear modeling with students nested within teachers using the R package lemur test. And we use the R package ERM for Roche analysis. The null model showed about 35% of the variability in post-test scores could be explained by differences across teachers, which is quite substantial, validating the need for a 2-level model. In Model 1, we included the pretest as well as demographic information. Model 2, we added playtime, and then Model 3, we added anxiety. Looking at descriptives, you can see here that there are sort of expected descriptives of about an hour of gameplay time on average, which we expected from the way the lessons were made. In general, students had pretty low math anxiety, with a few having higher anxieties. And I put this in here because I think it's important, because one of the results that was quite shocking involved playtime. So you can see here that playtime and Roche personability scores, it's not a very tight association. Looking at the scatter plot, the correlation is quite small, 0.135. And you can see the distribution of gameplay time across the top and Roche personability scores along the far right side there. And looking at the results, we see in Model 1 that pretest and grade level, as expected, were significant predictors. We were not expecting to see this split along racial lines, but it appears to have done that. Once we added playtime, it is not statistically significant in Model 2. And then in Model 3, anxiety became a statistically significant predictor as expected here. So some takeaways: students' early algebra knowledge differed substantially by teacher. We saw some things that were expected, some things that were not. Especially, we did not expect to see significant difference along racial lines, because there were well-established programs in the school that we thought might have mitigated this, such as programs for English learners, with some schools having well-established bilingual programs, which indicates need for future research of the role of culturally relevant pedagogies in this intervention and within these schools. Unexpectedly, playtime was not significant. We need more investigation into why that might be and what its role is in the intervention itself. And then we, as expected, we saw, or as we hoped for, I guess, we saw that the Their participation in the intervention appears to have supported increases in all aspects of the big ideas of early algebra and increasing students' knowledge. I hope this video has been helpful for you in thinking about this project, and I thank you for your time.